Here's how you know we've turned a corner. In another video I did a few days ago, I mentioned that only Bill Maher seems to get how absurd the whole PC culture crap is. And of course, he was called out as a bigot. Bill Maher is happy to have a fellow bigot in the White House. Bill Maher and Trump cut from the same cloth. Well now, liberal icon and former Daily Show host, which I think we all know him from, though there may be a few that remember him as Invasion of the Body Snatcher alien in that movie from the 90s, The Faculty. I doubt many people remember that. I think I'm dating myself here. 97, 98, I don't know. Jon Stewart. I'm talking about Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, voice of reason, basically. I mean, he's the voice of, was on CBS with Charlie Rose, and he had this to say.
I thought Donald Trump disqualified himself at numerous points. But there is now this idea that anyone who voted for him has to be defined by the worst of his rhetoric. Like, there are guys in my neighborhood that I love, that I respect, that I think have incredible qualities, who are not afraid of Mexicans and not afraid of Muslims and not afraid of blacks. They're afraid of their insurance premiums. In the liberal community, you hate this idea of creating people as a monolith. Don't look at Muslims as a monolith. They are the individuals, and it would be ignorance. But everybody who voted for Trump is a monolith, is a racist. That hypocrisy is also real in our country.
So that seems pretty reasonable. Trump voters are not a monolith. White people are not a monolith. It's wrong when people do it to Muslims, and it's wrong when we, quote unquote, do it too. You know, by we, of course, he means his ideological niche. It's hypocrisy. Yeah, that's exactly right. Way to go, John. And, you know, I like Jon Stewart, though he does irk me on certain issues, as they all do. That includes, you know, every left-right commentator I'm talking about. But, yeah, anyway, so playing teams, you know, red shirts versus blue shirts, it's all ridiculous. There's a lot of overlap between today's modern liberal and conservative schools of thought. And it's in that overlap where most of the best ideas exist. You know, most of the sensible ideas where we all share common ground, but nobody's willing to listen to each other because they all have red or blue ties jammed in their fucking ears. And then they take their, you know, fucking tie jammed ears and they shove their head firmly up their respective asses. So, not everyone, of course, but, you know, the middle way has been widening greatly over the last year or so. At least that's what I've noticed. Yeah, so anyway, I went way off track here. Yeah, Jon Stewart, being reasonable. Great, thanks. Amazing. You're doing the work of the Lord, Jon Stewart. So how did social media react? Let's see how social media reacted. Ah, boy. This is my favorite part of making these videos. Hurts my heart to see Jon Stewart going out of his way to coddle racists over addressing them frankly. Yeah, that's right. Addressing the 61 million Americans who voted for Trump in a manner that acknowledges their humanity. Who knew? That amounts to coddling racists. Even though millions of those people who voted for Trump were blacks, Hispanics, LGBT people, even Muslims. I mean, there was even Muslims like, most notably, Asra Nomani, who I know from Sam Harris and other sources. Yeah, so every one of those people are evil racists. Your fellow Americans, your neighbors. I mean, yeah, they're all evil, sexist, xenophobic bigots. Oh, man. Next. Bernie Sanders, Jon Stewart, and the rest of these Democratic brocialists need to sit down and stop excusing away open white nationalism. Brocialists, there's a new one. Never heard that one before. Alright, let's do one more, I guess. Jon Stewart is a very in-the-middle guy. Way entry-level liberalism. I don't know how people keep forgetting this until he says dumb shit like this. Yeah, dumb shit. Air quotes. Calling out blanket accusations of racism is now dumb shit. Pointing out the flagrant hypocrisy of calling all white people racist, or all Trump voters racist, which is an even more diverse group. But when someone calls Muslims terrorists, that's Islamophobia. That's an unfair categorization of Muslims as people. Conflating them with terrorists or terrorism, Yes, and yes, of course that is. That is unfair. That is an inherently discriminatory categorization of people. Real human people with feelings and problems and difficulties who bleed just like you. People with their own unique issues that, nobody should be assuming to know, judging them by the way they look or the color of their skin. I mean, that's the best one. Or their religious garb or beliefs, etc., or the way they vote. How about that? Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong when anybody does it, including the identity politics crowd. So Jon Stewart tried to, steer the left back onto course, point out the hypocrisy, and he was attacked. There was a backlash. Big surprise there. That's to be expected. And this is the atmosphere we live in now. And, that said, we should also call John into account right now. Hey, John. I hope you do realize that this current atmosphere of wacky, McCarthyist, race hustling, the 72 genders of dolphinkin hustling, the 72 genders of Facebook. I fucking hate it. Oh man, I mean this is now a law that applies in many places in communist Canada and in New York City. I think only. I maybe only be the island of Manhattan for all I know. I'm not sure to the details, but if you misgender someone, you get a $200,000 fine. I don't know if it's been enforced yet, but still, the fact that that's even on the books, it's like another stupid, silly, frivolous, bureaucratic law on the books. No blowjobs in Alabama. Yeah, because you're really going to enforce that. It's so silly. Yeah, so I'm glad that Jon Stewart's owning up to this crap now. And it's perfect timing, as are others. Yeah, so another prominent voice from the entertainment world also spoke up yesterday as well. Tom Hanks, of all people. Here's one. Tom Hanks breaks from Hollywood pack and says he hopes Trump does well. Okay, good. I mean, he's the captain of the ship, basically. It's like you hear people saying, like, I hope he fails. You realize you're on the ship America. And right now the captain of that ship is Trump. It's like, I hope he sinks the damn ship. Yeah, because cutting off your nose to spite your face, that's gonna get us real far. Here's another one. Tom Hanks to America. We are going to be all right. So let's take a look at the full passage, or some of the passages here. We are going to be all right, Hanks said. America has been in worse places than we are right now. In my own lifetime, our streets were in chaos. Yeah, because he's old. I don't know how old he is. I'll Google it later. Yeah, right. So he continues here. In my own lifetime, our streets were in chaos. Our generations were fighting each other tooth and nail. That journey never ceases. It never stops. Sometimes, like in a Bruce Springsteen song. Oh, God. Oh, what a cornball thing to say. One step forward, two steps back. We will still aggregately, never saw that word before, I think that's how you pronounce that, move forward. We will still aggregate, yeah, so despite all our differences and hardships and all the trials and tribulations facing America, we're going to move together aggregately. I'm thinking that means all together. So, calls for civility and unity from Mr. Tom Hanks. Good on you, Tom. That was big of you, pun intended, to lead the charge forward in peace and understanding. Then everyone held hands and sang Kumbaya, right? Then the whole country came together as one in this time of uncertainty. Right? I'm assuming that's what we all did, right? Nope. Not a chance. Heterosexual white male worth more than 300 million. We're gonna be all right. This guy looks to be like a white man himself. You're a fucking white male! And here's Tom Hanks in a nutshell. My fellow Americans, there's hope. We'll persevere together. Let's all, it's basically, here's Tom Hanks channeling his inner Martin Luther King Jr. And then, of course, the identity politics Twitter herd, the identity politics social media herd, or just the herd in general. You're a fucking white male. You're a white man. You are a white man. Oh, man. You know what? This is it. This is really it. So here's a point to consider, and this is an idea I've been bouncing around in my head for a while now. This is it, and I'm sure others have probably said this, have beat me to the punch, because I'm not such a smart or insightful guy. But, as ridiculous as all that seems, I'm hopeful, jubilant even, and it's because, although this all seems absolutely ridiculous, I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's absurd. It's just, any sane person should be able to look at this soberly and say, yeah, there's some problem here. The way these people are behaving is not rational. I feel hopeful and, even happy, and it's because I feel as though we've crested on the insanity. We've crested on the insanity that is identity politics and, SJW-ism. I don't know, whatever you would call that. We've reached the zenith of this madness, so it can only go downhill from here. And I think we're seeing that, So why do I say that? Because, just looking at what I'm looking at now, what I've been noticing, you got Dave Chappelle. I forgot about Dave Chappelle as well, because, look at the rational voices starting to rise up and separate themselves from the lunatics that have been running the asylum for like the last maybe 6 years now. Yeah, so you got Jon Stewart. This is how it starts. Now we've got America's dad, as they call him, Tom Hanks. And Oprah. Also Oprah. I forgot about Oprah. So the tectonic shift has begun. And, we're over the hill. Mark my words. As we inch closer to Trump taking office in January, more and more, you're going to see more and more people going in that direction. You're going to see more and more people departing from the wild accusations of racism, sexism, etc., yada, 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 yada. The pendulum has swung as far to the left as it possibly could. And now with Trump's election, it's beginning to move back towards the center. Of course, we may see it swing too far to the right again in the next 8 years or so, because I predict, judging by the Democrats' behavior, who are the only kind of opposition party to the Republicans, they're doubling down on retardation. So it's likely that you're going to see 8 years of Trump. Is it going to move as far to the right under Trump as it did with Bush? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think we're finally learning to adjust to the social. The reason why is because we're starting to learn to adjust to the social media age. We're recalibrating our bearings after receiving essentially a new sensory organ for the first time. Since humans evolved out of Africa a million or so years ago. We've got these little devices now in our pockets, which, mine's buzzing off the ringer right now because I'm recording a video, of course. That always happens. That allow us to be connected at near telepathic levels. And soon we'll be at telepathic levels. We're going to have Borg collective technology, which scares some people, but I have no doubt the next step for our technology is for it to merge with us and or us with it, and at which point we'll develop a deeper empathy for each other. Because the next level of social network is going to be, like Borg collective, but I don't think it's going to be dystopian. I think we're going to be more empathetic with each other than we've ever been able to experience, because we're going to have a direct brain interface, neural link up. And I think part of the recalibration of the human experience that we're seeing, that we're witnessing these past couple years, they've been growing pains. And I think the species and our society, at least Western society, has been calibrating this new techno-sensory organ. But it seems like we've just about found our bearings now. And I think things are tilting back into equilibrium.